Okay, the next command I'm going to discuss is df. Df means disk free. Disk free, right? So now it is going to tell, right? So these are temp files. If you ignore about this. So this is my Linux instance. Go on mute before I, right? So this is my Linux instance. This is my Linux instance, right? This entire thing is my Linux instance that has one hard disk, right? Hard disk. What is the capacity of that, right? DF. If I type disk free, so it is. So now you are getting confused. See, what is this? I'm not getting. So in that case, we have our weapon, right? Minus H, human readable format. Minus H means human readable, right? It is going to tell in this format. So it is saying total of 10 GB. This instance has a hard disk of total of 10 GB. In that, almost 8.7 is available. 1.4 is utilized. So you may calculate this 8 plus 1, 9, this one, sir, 10.1 it will come, right? So not that 1 GB, right? There might be something utilized, something left, right? So they took 1.1 GB there. So it looks like that, but 10 GB it is, right? So average that round figures they'll make, right? Like that they made it, right? Almost 1.4 GB has been utilized, used, right? And 8.7 GB is free. Is free, still available, that much memory. So total usage is 14% of that memory has been utilized. This has been mounted to the, what is this mounting, right? You don't know. Those who attended AWS already know it. So this contains whatever this hard disk contains root directory, means under root directory, whatever we store, everything is present on this hard disk only, hard drive, this, right? So for example, my memory is not enough, hard disk memory. What I'll do, I'll attach external hard disk, right? So if you attach external hard disk, everything will not be stored on external hard disk. By default, that will store on this default drive only. So we need to explicitly tell what need to be stored on external drive. That we will understand in AWS. Others know that mounting point, where we do mounting point, and all those who attended AWS don't know, they know it. But the hard disk, it is, see this, the mounting point is root. So under root directory, whatever we store, everything will be stored in this hard disk only. These are temp files, okay? File system related things and all. You leave it, right? This is related to hard disk. DF. So in interview question, how to know what is my disk space? How to know my disk space, right? DF is a command. So df minus h, right? It will tell total size of disk space, how much is used, how much is available. So the question will be like, how much is the disk space? How much is available? How to know how much is available? How much is utilized? Right? A percentage like this for all things. This is the answer. Next, there is something. Let me get into CDIR 3. There is one more command called as du. Du minus h. Let me type du or du minus h. 4 it is showing du minus h. What is this 4K it is showing? 4K, right? What is this 4K is? What is my current directory? dir3, right? Du is the command which is disk usage. Disk usage. So my current directory has consumed how much of disk memory? Disk usage, how much memory it has utilized. This current directory memory, not the entire system. What is my current directory? dir3. Yeah. This directory, the files and folders, subfolders or something present inside this dir3. How much memory they have consumed? 4K. Now I'll go here. Du minus h. So I'm under root directory. So enter, it has only one file, right? This has ls. If I type, these directories are empty directories, right? Only this is the directory which has a file. So how much they consumed is 4K, and internally there will be some files, right? So the current directory, what are that? ls minus la if I type, right? Sorry, la. So there are some hidden files. These also consume memory. So everything on total it is 24K. So this memory it has consumed. So this is .ssh. Right, this folder has consumed 4K. This directory dir3 has consumed 4K, and other files, this .bash, these and all consume some memory. Total is 24K. It is saying. Okay, so the disk free df will show the entire hard disk memory. Du will show the usage of current directory. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, bro.
Next, in Linux, if I want to print two numbers, I add two numbers, not to print. Print means like this: echo All right, echo array, mistake, echo hi. If I print hi, it will print. If I give 2, if I give 2, it will print. See guys, you can use up and arrow. If you have executed previous commands, you can use up arrow, down arrow to move between the commands. Okay. Now, when I use up arrow as a EC2 user, whatever, if I click on up arrow as a EC2 user, the previous commands, whatever I executed, those will be shown here. See up arrow, see, right? DF, CDDR, DF minus H, these and all I only executed as a EC2 user, that will execute. Now, again, if I click on down arrow, right, the next commands, the latest commands, it will come on. See, this is the last command I executed, EC2. If I echo 2, if I click on up arrow, it will show that, right? Now, if I switch to root user, sudo minus I, right? Now, what I'm a root user. Now, it will not, if I click on up arrow, it is not list my commands. See, as a root user, what are the previous commands I executed? That it is listing. Right? You remember up arrow, down arrow, those will show the commands of the current user. In the past, as this user, what are the previous commands I executed? Right? If I switch to root user commands as a root user, as a EC2 user, what are the commands I executed? That will not show in the root user history. Okay. As a EC2 user in the past history, what are the commands I executed? It will show it. Up arrow, down arrow, you can control. You don't need to retype again and again. Next, I want to add 2 numbers. Echo 2 plus 2. Okay, it is not going to work. Right? It will print. Yes, that I'm doing. See, 2 plus 2. It will print 2 plus 2. Okay. I want to do addition. For that, there is some command called as expr, expression 2 plus 2. Why? I said expr, but still it is not working. Why? Because whenever you do expression, there should be a space between the operator and operands. This is the operator. These are the operands, right? There should be a space, else it will not think. Now it is added. So if you want to do any arithmetic operations, if you give plus 2, so now tell me what will be the result now. If I type like this, just 2 plus 2. Okay, I'm using spaces, everything. What will error? What error?
Directory not found.
Directory not found. Command not found we will get. Why? Because in Linux, first thing, any command you pass, first thing is command. Echo command. After that, ls, whatever it is, ls, mkdir, everything. First it starts with command. And then parameters, mkdir minus p or mkdir directory name, ls minus l. Starting is command. So here also you're starting like this. So it will treat this first two as a command. There is no command with the name 2. Command not found. See, command not found. It is treating everything, anything. It has to start with command. 2 it is treating as a command. Hey, there is no command. Right? So that's the reason you have to use expr, right? And then as any arithmetic operations, it is going to give the result. Understood, guys? There are some escape character also. We'll discuss that in shell scripting, right? Have you understood how to do arithmetic operations through a command called as expr? Understood? Clear? Yes. Okay. Yes, next, dollar or cat /etc/. See this, if I type this file cat /etc/shells, it is printing something. These are the shells available in my machine or supported by my Linux machine. Bash shell, sh shell, right? What are this? So this sh and bash shells are there. Okay, what are these shells? Is guys, what is this? What is this? Whatever I'm using, wherever I'm typing my command, what is that is called as terminal. The tool is name is git bash, but you can use so many things as a terminal like git bash, putty, super putty, terminal, right? So many things you can use. What are those? Right? Git bash, putty, super putty. They are all terminals, means wherever you execute a Linux command, they will give you support to execute a terminal. Now, when I execute a command here, from here, the command need to be carried till this Linux instance. Right? Where is my git? This git bash is on my Windows machine. Right? So whenever I type a command, who is carrying this command from here to this instance. Once that is processed, who is carrying the result from this instance back to the terminal and displaying it here is a shell. Shell is a small program. Shell is a small program who will act as a bridge or a mediator between your terminal and the operating system. Terminal and the operating system. Like you have a kernel between operating system and the hardware. You have a kernel, right? Like that, from the terminal to the operating system, there is one small program. We call that program as a shell. We call that program as a shell. Shell is a small program which will run in the background. It will carry the commands, whatever we execute on the terminal, it will carry this commands and give it to the operating system. And after processing, that operating system will give a result. It will carry that result from the operating system and back to the terminal and display it here. See, now I'm typing cat, all right? For example, echo hi, right? So this echo hi will be carried. Shell will take this, right? When I click on enter, that shell will take to the operating system, give it. Operating system will process that. Then it will get it. Shell will carry the result from there to here and display it here. Very fraction of seconds, milliseconds it happened, right? So expr 2 plus 2. So now expr 2 plus 2, when I click on enter, it will be carried, taken and given to the operating system. It will give a result and it will get back and display it here. Understood? Understood, guys? What is shell? So now there are different types of shells available. How to know that? This is an interview question. How to know the shells available in my machine is, there is one file under etc directory. There is one file called as shells. If you cat it, it will tell that supporting shells. There are two types of shells. These are extra printing, but these two are the shells supported. sh and bash shell. Like this, there will be k shell or corn shell, right? C shell. Like that, there are many shells available, but in the market, those are available. But our operating system has two shells, that is sh and bash shell. Now, what is the default shell? Is bash shell. Is a bash shell. How to? What is the proof? What is the default shell is? There is one environmental variable called as shell, echo $shell. So what it is printing? Is this printing this .bin/bash? So there are two types of programs, mean two types of shell, sh shell, bash shell. Both are similar. There will be how they function. How they function is little different. If there are two shells available, means both will not be same, right? Their performance or something will be different, right? So this is a default shell. Bash shell is a default shell. You remember, right? Sir, I don't want to use bash shell. I'm right. We don't change regularly. For example, you are an Linux admin. You know the difference very well, and you want to use a shell, a sh shell. If you want to change the shell from bash to the default shell from bash to sh, what can you do is export. You know how to create environmental variables. Export shell equal to, shell is a variable, right? Shell equal to /bin/sh. Okay. Shell is an environmental variable. So for that environmental variable, if you set this bash, right? So that will become as a default shell. Now I am setting as a shell, sh shell. Now what is my shell is? Sh shell. So I changed the value of this shell variable. So whatever the value is there for this shell, that is going to be your default shell. Okay, shell variable, environmental variable is there. Whatever the path you give, I gave shell sh shell path. So it is going to use sh. Now the commands, whatever I execute, those will be executed by my sh shell. I don't want it. I want to bash shell. Okay, you can change it. /bash. That's it. I changed. So now I'm going to use my default as a bash shell. Right? My default is going to be a bash shell now. Right? If you want to know what are the shells supported by your mission, what you have to do? cat/etc/shells file. You have to print. So it will give that default shell. Sorry, what are the shells supported? If you want to know the default shell, you need to you need to print this shell variable. It will give that. So if you want to change it, you need to change the shell variable. So it will change it. I don't want to change permanently my default variable. Temporarily, I want to execute. See, what is my shell now? sh. I want to switch to sh shell temporarily. Just type sh, enter. It turned to sh shell. sh shell. You practice some commands, how it behaves. See, it is not, sh shell is not giving colors and all, right? For example, now I want to come back, exit. So it came back from sh shell back to the default bash shell. So temporary change means sh. Just type the shell name. If it is supporting k shell and all, k shell, ksh, enter, it will turn to that shell. Once you type exit, it will come back to the default shell. If you want to change the shell permanently, you need to change the environmental variable value through the export command. Export is the command what you use to create environmental variables or to modify the variables of environmental variables. To create a variable, environmental variable, or to modify the variable value, we use export. Understood, guys? Shell and all will not change in real time. And if there are Linux admins, if they need, they only change. But as a DevOps engineer, we are not going to touch the shells. We don't need to bother about that. But just for knowledge purpose, you just keep it this in mind. Okay. Any questions before stopping?
So is there any way that the commands that we have used in the terminal, can we save that?
Yes, of course. That is tomorrow's topic. We'll discuss that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?